It's been about a year since the Agentic AI revolution really kicked off, promising to change, well, pretty much everything. But what have we actually learned from the people on the front lines? Today, we're digging into the critical lessons that separate the hype from what's actually working. So let's get into it. AI promises this huge leap in productivity. So why, after billions of dollars have been poured into it, are so many companies really struggling to see a real return? It's the big question, right? What's the secret sauce? What are the teams getting it right know that everyone else is missing? Okay, so here's our game plan to answer that. We'll start with what Agentic AI promised in the first place. Then dive into the hard-won lessons from over 50 real-world projects. From there, we'll get into how to build these things the right way, understand the vital role people still play, and wrap it all up with what this means for you. All right, first up, the Agentic AI promise. Let's make sure we're all on the same page about what the stuff is, and then uncover the core challenge that's stripping up so many companies. Okay, let's get real for a second. This is the unfiltered truth. Despite all the hype, a lot of these early projects are just falling flat. And look at that word, retrenching. That means some companies are actually rehiring people for jobs that AI agents failed to do. I mean, that's not just a slow start, that's literally going in reverse. It shows there's this huge knowledge gap we need to close, and fast. So what exactly is Agentic AI? Well, the easiest way to think about it is this. It's not just an AI that answers questions, it's an AI that gets things done. It's a system that can actually take on complex, multi-step tasks. The kind of stuff that, until now, you always needed a person for. It's an actor, not just a thinker. So, knowing that challenge, let's look at the folks who are actually in the trenches, doing the work. What have they learned? These aren't just theories. These are the real, hard-won lessons from people building these systems day in and day out. And look, these lessons we're about to jump into, they're not just some random ideas. They come from a deep analysis of more than 50 different real-world agentic AI projects. This is what the data from the front lines is actually telling us. All right, lesson number 1, and this might be the most important takeaway of all. If you're just focused on building a cool agent, you're probably going to fail. The teams that are actually seeing huge value are using the agent as an excuse to rethink everything, the entire workflow, from the people to the processes to the tech. And that brings us to lesson 2. It's so easy to fall into this trap of thinking it's either agent or no agent, but that's just not the right way to look at it. Agents are incredibly powerful, but they're just one tool in a much bigger toolbox. The smart move is to figure out the job you need done first and then pick the right tool for it. And this slide, this is basically your cheat sheet. It breaks it down really nicely. If a task is simple and repetitive, guess what? Old school automation is probably still your best bet. If you need to understand messy text, use GenAI. But, and here's the key, the second a task requires complex, multi-step decision-making, that's the sweet spot. That's where an AI agent really shines. It's about using the right tool for the right reason. Okay, so let's say you've reimagined your workflow, you've picked the right tool for the job. Now what? How do you actually build this thing without it all falling apart? Which, believe me, happens a lot. Lesson 3 is a big one. You have to stop AI slop in its tracks. See, anyone can cook up a flashy demo, but a lot of these systems, when you put them to work, just produce junk. Low-quality output that frustrates people and just kills trust. The way to fix it? Stop thinking about deploying software and start thinking about hiring an employee. And this quote just nails it. It's a total mindset shift. You don't just deploy an agent and walk away. You hire it, you give it a clear job description, you test it, you give it feedback, and you help it get better over time. It's a relationship, right? Not just a one-and-done install. And if you're hiring an agent, you've got to measure its performance, just like you would with any new employee. You have to track everything, from how often it succeeds to its hallucination rate. You wouldn't just let a new hire run wild without any supervision, and you have to apply that same discipline here. That's how you build an AI teammate you can actually count on. Next up, lesson 4, and this is all about observability. When you have hundreds of these agents running around, you can't just check the final result. When something goes wrong, and trust me, it will, you need to be able to go back and see exactly where things went off the rails. Building in that step-by-step verification is absolutely essential for getting better. And that leads us right into lesson 5, work smarter, not harder. Instead of building a whole new custom agent for every little thing, the smart companies are building reusable components. Think of them like Lego bricks for common actions, like fetching data or running a search. It creates a central toolbox of skills that anyone can just grab and plug into a new workflow.
All right, this brings us to what might be the most important part of this whole conversation. With all this powerful tech doing more and more complex work, where do we fit in? What happens to the people?
And this is our final lesson, number 6. And it's absolutely crucial to understand. This whole movement is not about replacing people. It's about changing the very definition of work. Humans are still essential, but our roles have to evolve. We have to focus on the things that only people can do.
So, okay, if the agents are handling all these complex workflows, what's left for us? Are we out of a job? Well, not exactly. In fact, it turns out the most important work is still ours.
Our role completely shifts. We're not the ones doing the grunt work anymore. We become the coaches, the referees, the strategists. We're there to make sure the AI is accurate, to handle all the weird, unexpected stuff it can't, and to use our human judgment for the decisions that really, truly matter. We basically become the managers of our new AI teammates.
And, getting this human-AI teamwork right really comes down to smart design. Here's a great example. One insurance company built a system where if a person reviewing the AI's work clicks on an insight, the screen instantly scrolls to the exact sentence in the original document and highlights it. It's a simple feature, but it makes checking the work super fast, it builds trust, and it led to a 95% user acceptance rate. It just works. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground, 6 big lessons. So let's pull it all together and talk about what this really means for the future of work. And, more importantly, what it means for you. Look, at the end of the day, the big takeaway is this. This isn't about us versus them. It's not people versus AI. The future belongs to the teams that can masterfully redesign how work gets done, creating this amazing collaboration between their talented people and their powerful, well-managed AI agents. And that leaves us with one final, pretty provocative thought. Your next star performer, the one who raises the bar for everyone, might not be a person. It might be an AI. The real question for all of us is, are you ready to lead that kind of team?